and during May 2009, I was only 2.5 years old, so I don't remember much. But from what my parents told me, I spent most of May 2009 in my stroller at Parliament Hill.
So back in May 2009, I was still pretty young, so I didn't really understand the severity of the issue and the impact it had on my family and community.
So I was quite young in May 2009, but even as a kid, I remember very clearly going to protests and events and shows that were meant to raise awareness about what was happening back home and bring that story to kind of the spotlight to get that global attention. And even though I didn't have much context about all the details of what was happening back home, I did really understand that Tamils were experiencing that kind of severe injustice and harm back home, and I really wanted to do something to help that out.
What did May 2009 look like to me? Unity, solidarity, and resistance. When the Tamil community splurged onto the streets and demanded justice and accountability. It was my first step in finding my identity.
One day they just woke up and had to leave, and they came here in the early 80s, left everything valuable to them, everything they had, pictures, any memory they had to leave it behind.
Both my parents came to Canada at a young age. They came for the reason that they wanted to feel safe and have a good future.
They had to fight financial problems, legal battles, minority struggles. They had to also fight language barriers.
It's really sad to think that a lot of our parents, they don't have their memories of their childhood or belongings anymore because all that's been stolen.
It's really important for Tamil youth to learn about these stories because those experiences, that trauma has really affected our parents, it's affected our grandparents, and in a way it shapes all of our experiences. So knowing that, understanding that, and commemorating the innocent people that lost their lives and the struggle that Tamil people have gone through to get where we are today, I think is really important.
I believe that learning about the struggle is important because it gives you a sense of identity, and I never really felt the sense of patriotism until I learned about Ulam.
Is that it's important to understand our history, our pain and significance. It's important to share our stories, because when we share our stories and speak them into existence, it is an act of resistance. When I think about Mulivaikal, I think about pain. I think about sacrifice. I think about nameless victims, and I remember them and I mourn.
When I think of Mulivaikal, I think of all this anger I have and had in the past, and the amount of sadness that rushes through my brain. I'm sad because the amount of doctors, mothers, fathers, potential engineers, potential grandparents, potential grandchildren, next prime minister, all those potentials were taken away from those victims but in a second. It's like they had no chance at life, and that's just such a devastating thing for me. But the reason why I'm angry is because during COVID, people are passing away due to a virus. It's not controllable, whereas guns, war, violence is controllable through it's all run by hate.
I think of the youth that came together to lead the protests that happened all over the world. Whenever I see those pictures, regardless of where they were taken, I just feel so much strength and so much pride. I think for generations to come, it's important that we create safe spaces where they can ask questions, learn about the struggle, be critical, and then choose how they wish to identify with the Tamil identity. They didn't grow up with the struggle, they didn't see what happened in May 2009, so they'll rely heavily on us to learn about it. So I think that's why it's important that we create a space where they can learn and they can choose how they wish to identify.
Tamil Future should allow the youth to get involved and learn about Ulam because that sense of identity keeps people together, and that's a very important part of community. And even though it may not go as far as us sacrificing our own lives, we cannot let the efforts of the Mahabir go in vain.
Back home initiatives, we support our communities back home, but it's important that they lead those conversations. I find many of us are so eager to help that we try to lead those conversations, but at the end of the day, they're living back home and they know what their needs are best. So it's important that we do help, but we help in a way that we support them, and they're at the center of those conversations and they lead those conversations.
Future I want for Ula Tamils is one where we're peaceful, one where kids don't have to hide their identity to not be harmed, one where we can just feel at home, and a place that we can call home.